This is the zombies mod. This took a bit of time putting together, I will admit. I didn't think that I would really push it so far, but to quickly showcase this as a heavily expanded zombie roster of just all kinds of different variants, all kinds of different classes, different kinds of types, animals, all kinds of different variants you can use for your maps. I'm not sure where to really start, but I'll start from the top. These are the basic zombies in the game. Give me a sec. These are the basic zombies of the game. They are very easy to kill. Pretty much the basic class of zombies. Not too much unique about them. They all die to pretty much almost any kind of weapon. I'm using an iron sword, but you don't use wood. It's a very reliable weapon, so if you super good, I'll get to using this. There's also different variants you can use as well. These zombies are known to walk very slow basically. There isn't really much to them. They're very easy to dodge, move back from. They're susceptible to ice and fire arrows. As you can see, you set them on fire. Pretty weak to it. You can think of almost any weapon you can use on them, and you can pretty much just escape them just like that. They also have slow turn speed that makes them very easy to dodge and move around. There isn't really too much to say about these guys. They have their own class of damage and weapons, but these ones are the unique ones. There's a half zombie I added. As you can see, it moves primarily on the ground, and the best thing about it is it can fit through small narrow paths. This was done to make them a little bit more unique and have them be more risky to use. They do appear in survival mode as well, so more on the survival, zombie survival mode much later. There's another class here, which is a snake. This one took a lot of experimentation. I don't think it can. Oh, it can. Nice. But yeah, it's really just a snake type zombie. It's not an actual snake, but it's really just a snake type zombie really. Easy to kill. Share most of the same weaknesses. There's zombie dogs as well. There's a bit of some inspiration taken from Resident Evil with how they act. But pretty much they're very similar to fighting flames. It takes sprinting to really get comfortably away from them. So this is with no sprint. But you're sprinting, you can kinda get away from them, but they're pretty tough to really get off you. Here's some customization. These are bouncing zombies. Not too much to talk about really. Very easy to kill really. They're just another roster you can add to your zombie maps. And this is a dormant zombie head. It doesn't really do anything. It's just there for props and for you to customize. You want to have a zombie head on your map? Here you go. There's also undead rats. Not much to really say really. They're pretty easy to kill. They're more of something you can place if you're making a zombie map and you go, oh, I want to have some sewers for zombies. They don't really react that much unless you move in front of them. So they're a very easy enemy you can probably avoid. You have to customize behaviors with this one, but in case you don't feel like doing that, you can have their default behaviors where it makes it look like they are flying. I put an invisible barrier below the model, so that it gives the illusion of flying. Yeah, pretty cool. Again, very easy enemy to kill. I didn't want them to be a nuisance, so let's have them just be easier to kill. And this is another one, inspired by Resident Evil. Spiders. These are very fast. If you accidentally walk into these guys, they are very deadly. They are impossible to really avoid if you bump into them. If you're behind them, they are not affected, but if you're in their line of sight, they will indeed attack you. As you see, I'm sprinting, and yet that's not working. They are meant to be using more cramped corridors, so if you're using them in maps, you might want to be careful with how you use them. They also have immunity to fire, so you have to think of something else to really kill them with. I recommend a ruby sword. That's why I have the own unique sound effects. So this is level 1 zombies. Now we're getting into scary boy territory. These are big, giant zombies. These ones have more health, they run much faster, and all around they just look more cooler. Look at this dude right here, look at that. These are called the baneful zombies. These are undead, these are baneful, these ones are the greenhouse, mold zombies, and these ones are the rotten. They each have their own names, uniqueness, but let's go back to level 2 ones. These ones, they just move much more faster. They actually are much taller and bigger, so if you're in a crowd of normal undead zombies, this guy would stand out quite a lot. In fact, if you want to see the size comparison between two zombies, here you go. As you can see, this is the normal zombie that's always been in the game, and here is pretty much the level 2 variant, which is much larger. These variants are very unique and very aggressive. If I know correctly, these ones cannot be set on fire. Yep, they cannot be set on fire, but they are more susceptible to being frozen. So it's very useful against these guys. In fact, I think I made them much more sensitive to ice. If you have a fast enemy, I'd like it to not be too much of a nuisance. So yeah, if you feel like you're down on your luck and you can't really get these zombies off you, I would recommend freezing over an ice out to quickly get them just off you, period. There's also female and male variants, there's police variants as well. As you can see, walking does kind of help. They are a bit faster, they're definitely much more faster, but they are overall much more speedy and more powerful. But yeah, that's pretty much that. There's also another variant I'd like to showcase, and that is... I'll talk about the sounds in a sec. This is the Baneful Monster. This is a mini-boss type. All of these classes of mini-bosses. 2Ds, the Undead Werewolf, the Spiders. We are now going to talk about their own level 2 variants. Their level 2 variants are not going to be just a copy-paste of the same. They're going to be unique for each class. There'll be some reusing now and then, but these two are going to be really unique. Check this out. This is the Baneful Big Zombie. As you can tell, he's animated much more crazily looking. His hits do far much more. You can avoid them by sprinting, but if you're moving normally, you can't really get that far away from him. You have almost the exact same hit. So as you fight him, I'll freeze him over. And here's another one for my mod I was working on. This is, I may end up making this one much more faster, but this is a giant infected rat. There's a giant theme going on with the Baneful class. We have the giant, pretty much zombie variants. We have the giant infected variants, which are much more bigger, and we have the rats, which are much larger too. So these ones, yeah, you might not want to encounter this one in the city. I'm gonna buff a little bit more of this one because I do think it could do with much more maneuverability. But overall, very terrifying to fight. I think, yeah, as a Baneful class, it's very susceptible to flames. That is strange. Yeah, I may actually change this. Originally, it was part of the Undead class, but I decided to make it, well, part of the Baneful because the Baneful are about bigger zombies and stuff. But that's pretty much it about the level 2 class. We're now moving to level 3. Now this is where things get really interesting. This is a variant I've been waiting to make for ages. The Baneful, which are, I call this Baneful. These are the mold zombies. They are essentially near blind. They're very sensitive to flames. And the fire lasts much longer on them too. That is pretty much their weakness. But wait a minute, is that really it? Not quite. All of them have an ability to hit you far faster than any enemy in the game. They hit extremely fast, making spacing around them much more risky for you. So it's recommended to keep them keep your distance when fighting them. There's also these variants. They're pretty much almost the same with tiny trivial tweaks with them. They're just customization. You don't feel like using the same one. If you want one with a normal shirt, a variant, one without a shirt, just something that makes it feel like this is a group infected rather than just facing the same type of zombie. Just to add to that level. there's other mini boss variants. This is the mold monster. It is much larger, much bigger, and it takes more hits. There's not too much really to say about him. If you find him in pretty much a cramped corridor, he's very deadly. These enemies are morely made to be fought in corridors and tight corridors, but I try to make them flexible in many other scenarios. This is a unique variant, and this does not move. It's primarily just there to block access to areas. So if you are making an area and you need to get behind this zombie, you might have to kill this zombie to really move past. But yeah, it's not doing any damage, but I may end up changing that. Yeah, that's pretty much that. There's the mold monster. Not much to really talk about really. He's supposed to jump a lot, but he doesn't really do too much different from him. He seems a bit more slow. Pretty easy. I originally wanted this zombie to, if I remember correctly, to spit up these spores, but I had to make it separate for the level. Yeah, these are just spores you can just use. This is another obstacle course type of enemy you can place. And this is an undead bee enemy. Again, it's that type of enemy where you need to be in front of it to really do any damage. So if you bump into it, you are very in danger. Very easy enemy to really just fight. It doesn't really like television. It's really one of those trivial obstacle courses. Just like Resident Evil 1, where you was pretty much in Resident Evil 1, there's this garden house and all these bee enemies. They didn't really do too much, but they're just there to add to the infection. And here's another unique thing. This is another thing I've been meaning to add. This is customizable ivy. If you place them next to each other, you can create like an ivy-like wall. I would recommend putting them like this, and then placing invisible barriers. On some occasions, you can walk and go through all this. I'd recommend putting something like this down. So that right now, so still can go through this. I'll probably do that again. There's many ways. This is very flexible how you can just customize all this. But yeah, it's very customizable how much you can really do with this. If you have behaviors, you can pretty much change the size of any mob. So you can turn this into like a gigantic looking one. Yeah, that's pretty much the level 3 class done. I want to talk about the Rotten class. Now this is heavily inspired by the Crimson Head zombies from Resident Evil 1 remake. Oh, such a damn good game. But to get to the point, they are much faster, they are much stronger. You can still sprint away from them, but they have the top speed you can really adapt to. But yeah, they do more damage than the average type zombies. They have more health too, which makes them very, very dangerous. Here's a nice detail I decided to add. Actually, this is something I forgot to show you guys with the level 3 class. We're gonna step away from the level 4 and go back to 3. This they're very, very resilient to the ice effect. This is a garden house, man. They are very resilient to this. However, with that, as I mentioned before, they're very susceptible to flames, but they can't be frozen, if not barely at all, it barely lasts anything. The Rotten class now is stepping back to the level 4. The Rotten class, they cannot be frozen. They have no frozen effects. They cannot be frozen, but they have a very, very easy weakness for you to exploit. That is, they are the most resilient mob in the game when it comes to next to the mold zombies. That being, they're very sensitive to fire. The reason they're sensitive to fire is because their skin has been completely burned off, so they are much more sensitive to the flames. These are more horde type enemies. This is inspired by a bit of the Zelda Ocarina of Time mobs. They do not do anything, except they just stand there. They wait for enemies to really walk towards them. And the uniqueness about this mob is they do lurking damage, if that makes sense. This uniqueness of this enemy is pretty much you have to play to invade strategic spots if you really want them to do anything really meaningful. They can also breathe underwater. Well, all the mobs can. But with these ones, you'd have to be very unique how you actually place them. If you're making a horror map that's in the dark, and you would like these zombies to really be an obstacle course for the players, you could easily just place these ones. I'm going to showcase their lighting a little bit more later, because that's going to be a really exciting thing to really jump into. But that's pretty much what these variants do. To the next one, we have a returning enemy, and that is the Rotten Wolf. Now, these enemies are very unique. They run twice as fast, and you cannot avoid these guys. Once they have a lock on you, it's nearly game over. You have to be very careful around these enemies. There's not too much to really say about them. They run fast. I wish we wanted them to jump very high, but yeah, you guys will have to customize your movements. If you still have fire arrows, you can still damage the enemies like normal. They would still outblock pretty much just normal fire arrows. Now this is another unique enemy. I don't know if it can, I haven't really tested yet. I don't think it can actually go through now. No, it cannot. This is a very unique enemy. It's very slow, but if you're not careful enough, you could take a lot of damage. I mean a lot of damage. This damage is so intense, it can actually push you back a little bit. So what you're going to do is just make sure you do not touch this enemy. He is very, very dangerous. That means they're going to this was a lot of help. I guess I meant for this one to be a new boss. This is the snake. It's just like the original snake from the level 1 class. But this one is just much more powerful and it's far much more different. This is the rat. The rats have returned again. And it really just is pretty much just the same rat that does more damage. You cannot dodge this enemy. It is relentless, it is deadly, it has more reactive power. Pretty much very just terrifying to fight. Next up we have a mini-boss variant. This is a mini-boss. This mini-boss is very unique. It has a lot of unique history. As this enemy was intended to really just be a set piece. This giant enemy really just hunts you through dark caves, and it wasn't really meant to be used for anything else. But yeah, you get trapped in its jaws or its mouth. It does rapid damage, so its slowness gives you a chance to really just escape its grasp. If you're not careful enough, you're very done for, pretty much. Holy shit. Look at the amount of damage you are taking. Wow, amazing. And now we have this one. Inspired by the Flesh Wolf from Terraria. This is just another vine you can use. So you want to make a flesh wall that can block off areas? There you go. I think I made it susceptible to fire just like any other, pretty much. I will add a way still, but it's still pretty cool to use. Oh, there's still more. Okay, let's go to the Parasite variants. This was a very tough one to make. Yeah, I wasn't even sure I could even pull this one off. This is a unique parasite type zombie, and that it's supposed to lure you in to make it look like there's just a normal human. But if you look carefully and look behind it, there's a human. There's a parasite on its back, and this is a very unique enemy. It's supposed to be just a normal looking zombie, but if you move close enough to it, it starts revealing the actual parasite on its actual head, and then it starts attacking you. It's again one of those enemies where you have to walk in front of it to really make it start damaging you. That's really the intention. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Or like it, you'd have to add a behavior that makes it pause when it walks around. So yeah, you can see, it looks normal, it lures you in, and then boom, it starts attacking you just like that. This parasite type enemy is a very unique one. Their species are very, very sensitive to fire. Yeah, you can kill it just like that, and his weakness carries over to this one. God damn. There's also another variant you can use, and it's a bit more stronger, but it has the same weaknesses. It still moves around, but this one, the parasite has just grown so much more over the victim, to the point that it doesn't really hide, it just attacks if you even move close to it. That's pretty much the parasite class. And this is the elastic zombie. Oh my jaw is turning for so much talking, holy crap. Oh, okay. This is the elastic, oh man. Oh well. This is a unique variant. It has a very long range. Its long arms can pretty much just do a lot of damage to you. It's easy to avoid, so he's not too much of a problem. This thing twitches, it moves around, it has a glow on its body that makes it much more easy to see in the dark, and its face lights up very randomly. Is it sensitive to, I made it sensitive to fire, I think. Oh, huh, that's pretty cool. It should be completely immune to freezing as well, or just absolutely obliterates him. Yeah, the arrows still just pretty much, even if you're immune to the ice effect from ice arrows, the ice arrows' piercing power will still damage you, but the actual elemental effect, yeah, that one affects completely. The ice effect lasts much longer on this zombie, so it gives you a much more easy chance to really escape. The blue is supposed to represent ice or water? Something that makes the player go, okay, it's a bluish color. What if I use an ice arrow on it? The connection? Level design? Pretty much. Oh, I gotta go, okay. This is the melted types. There's a small one and there's a big one. Start with the small one. These variants are much more susceptible to being frozen. I don't think you can set them on fire though. I don't think I added them. But yeah, the uniqueness about this class is very much they have actual defense. You can't really do much damage to them if you have a sword. You get mostly just zeros. So how do you take down an enemy that just, it doesn't even give you that many chances to do damage to it? This enemy is intended to be taken down with, yep, the boom arrows. The boom arrows will always pass through anyone's defense, and I decided to use that for this enemy. So we're using explosions, just kills them just like that. So yeah, if these enemies are giving you trouble with the swords, use the explosives because they do pretty much, that's their weakness, pretty much. I hope that made sense. And lastly, oh man, that was a long, oh there's even more to talk about, god damn. Okay, these are the corpses. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The corpses. For customization's sake, if you want to place bodies on your map, because you know this is a zombie type mod, you can just place these zombies, dead bodies on the ground. If you want to just have dead bodies on your map, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There was no. Okay, but yeah, as I mistakenly just done that, I'm gonna have to find his model again later. Where there's only one model. Oh shit. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. They can be set on fire. They can still be frozen. As in, yeah, they can still be frozen, but they have such low health. It doesn't really matter if you can really freeze them. As you can see, the ice effect does spread around their whole body, so yeah, pretty much. As you can see, that explosion destroyed the dead body as well. So yeah, if you just want to place dead bodies on your map, you can do just that. Okay. And I think this is the last thing. And that is the lighting test. The mobs, they have, let's turn off the lights. There you go. Make it darker. I do not like this. Make it even more darker, please. That's as dark as you can make it. What the hell, game? Okay. It's really okay. As you can see, these two mobs, they each have effects on their eyes. They actually have the sun blocks and the glowing blocks in the game. So I decided to make it so you can see them in the dark much more easier. So if you're having trouble at night just noticing them, here you go, you can just see how they look in the dark. Did I actually forget to showcase this one? This one is it's still part of the level 3 class. It's really just a deadly plant, basically. There's not really much to it. You can use these in case you just want to, yeah, they have, yeah, there's plants you can basically just place on your map, and they just do damage if you walk into them. If you want to see if they can do any damage or really notice them in the environment, you could notice they actually have idle animations. So yeah, even when standing still, they are still animated. You can see that's the damage they do if you end up walking close to them. They're still unfinished a little bit. I'm still going to tweak them a little bit, but yeah. I think that's pretty much all that covered. I do not need any ceiling, thank you very much. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not too much to really discuss at this point. There's some history I would like to talk about. Yeah, I think you can click off the video at this point, but this is really just some history I'm going to go into. This mod, this is not really something really new. This was something part of my NPC expansion mod that's on the current workshop. As you can see, it didn't style very big. It's still your basics. A lot of mobs you can recognize. As you can see, it isn't really as good as what it is. So I looked at all of these and I was like, these are mobs I made, and I was like, what if I look back on these and really just expanded this and made it even bigger? And I decided, okay, let's take all of these, update their models a little bit, make them look a little bit better, add in a couple unique things. As you can see, this is the corpses from the original mod. As you can see, I took the corpses from that same mod and I just expanded upon it, and just, yeah, that's pretty much about it with the mod. Hope you enjoy. I'll probably make a comment on this video or in descriptions when this mod is finally finished. There's still another video I have to make, and that is pretty much how these zombies work in survival mode. That's one of the big things I'm going to be adding. Not all of these mobs will be in survival mode. Currently it's only the level 2 and level 1s. The level 1s will appear at night, at daytime, and these ones will appear at nighttime, much more difficult. But I might use some, just some, on other nights as well. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. If you like the content, you can check out my Patreon. It's nothing too crazy. It's just there if you want to show your support. If you like the stuff I do, there's my Patreon. You can just check it out. You can send me some money if you want. Yeah, there's nothing really special about it. You don't get anything extra if you sign up, or it's really just there to show your appreciation, really, and it's nothing really that big. Yeah, everything I do, I kind of like doing things publicly. Like, I don't like revealing like so much stuff, but with this, I just wanted to put this out there, maybe go into some history, and really just make it public, really. And yeah, just hope you enjoy the stuff. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.